What is going on, guys? Shooting Dave here. So good to see your faces. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're new here and you don't know what I'm about, well, I'm a photographer from London that now lives here in Los Angeles, and I make photo and video editing tutorials. So, if that sounds like something of interest to you, then please do consider subscribing. So, at the time of recording this video, this week actually signifies the 2-year anniversary that Amy and I moved out here to Los Angeles, and I wanted to make a video to commemorate that. And what better way to do that than to answer some of your questions. So I reached out to you on Instagram, you asked a bunch of questions, and well, Amy and I, we're going to do our best to answer those questions. So sit back, grab a drink, get some popcorn, I don't know, snacks, and we'll answer your questions. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is my wife, Amy.
Hi.
And before we actually get into the questions, we have one very exciting announcement for you, and that is we have... we got a little baby puppy. His name is Queso. At the time of recording this, he's only 9 weeks old, and
he's currently sleepy.
He's very tired at the moment. All right, let's do some questions. First one we will do from my friend Ed, Ed_but on Instagram. What is your fondest memory since moving, individually and joint memories, please? I'll let you take this one first.
Okay, so some of my favourites are my birthday weekend in Joshua Tree, where me and you went, and then for your birthday weekend we went to Idlewild with our friends Steph and Kyle and their little dog Massimo, and then now obviously having a baby puppy.
Yeah, I think my favourite joint memory, probably the puppy. I would agree. My favourite personal memory, I don't know, buying my car.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I mean, I was very, very excited about that, so yeah, I think buying a car. Another one from Ed, but have you found the LA version of SNOBS? Now, before we answer this, for those of you who are uninitiated, SNOBS is a nightclub in Birmingham where we actually first met. It is probably our favourite nightclub. It was kind of cheap, but it played indie music. It had like really good drinks. Well, when I say good, I mean cheap.
Yeah,
drinks.
You could go out for £20.
You could get unbelievably hammered for £20.
And get your chips before you went home.
Yeah.
And the taxi home.
So, it has a special place in our heart,
Yeah.
and I know that a lot of our friends know us from there as well. So, have we found our version of that out here in LA?
I think we found sort of an equivalent is the Brig on Abbot Kinney.
Yeah.
Although it has had a facelift during COVID, so I don't know how similar to SNOBS it is. It's kind of like a dive bar, but it's a little bit more fun. So it gave me SNOBS vibes, like the dance floor.
Yeah, and the floor is sticky, so you have to like watch where your shoes go. So I guess the Brig. Other than that, we don't really go out clubbing that much.
Well, we haven't been able to because of COVID.
That too, and I'm ancient now, so
yeah,
I don't...
you know.
Nikolai Bonig says, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. What are you missing about London/England?
I think friends and family.
Yeah.
There's some things that we miss that's different to America in terms of like after work drinks.
Yeah. I miss, like, part of living in London and working in London was great because you're right in the thick of the city, and it's quite nice to see like the centre of London, and that was kind of cool. And like in LA, it's kind of more of an urban sprawl rather than having a designated city centre. So that's one thing. Obviously, friends and family, miss those a lot. Other things, I miss pub culture. I miss going to the pub like on my lunch breaks and hanging out with my colleagues and blowing off steam after work. That was a lot of fun. Food.
Yeah, there's a few foodie things we miss from the UK.
Kebabs, Dynamite and chips, miss that.
Yeah, and like a cheeky Nando's.
Miss a Nando's, yeah.
And a Wagamama's. Just like, there's some really good food out here, but it's either like...
bougie as fuck or crap.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're the two that I'm like, oh, next time we go home, I quite like.
Straight to Nando's. And then the pub.
Yeah.
In that order. Okay. Anything else you miss?
No, other than friends and family, that's probably the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. Seb the Crab, what costs bring a move like this with you? For example, is there any taxes, shipping, etc.? So moving from England to America is not for the faint-hearted. There is a lot of different strands to it. Basically, there's not like a single cost. So You have the lawyer fees who will prepare your visas for you. I think that's in the region of $5,000 to $8,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I think it's about £8,000 per person. Then you have the actual moving fees or shipping all your stuff, and
that's if you decide to ship things. We brought things with us that were like things that we got from our wedding, like wedding gifts and like picture frames, and a few knickknacks. But overall, we didn't bring any furniture.
Clothes as well.
Yeah, we brought clothes.
Well, actually, no, we didn't ship the clothes. Really.
Yeah, we brought the clothes like suitcased. We had 5 suitcases when moving.
Yes. We had a lot of suitcases.
You could probably insert a little picture of us with our cases.
How very YouTuber of you. I like it. So then you got the cost of like moving if you are going to ship anything over. So that can be, I don't know, anything up to a couple of $1,000. And it takes, you got to think about the time it takes as well.
Yeah.
We were told it takes 8 weeks. And I think it took closer to 16 weeks in the end for it to actually clear customs and get delivered to us.
Yeah, so we had all like our kitchen pots and pans and things like that. So we went out and got one of everything just to make do. But So that's quite expensive. Then you got your flights and any luggage that you take on there. So like, it gets more and more expensive. And then there's all the other things that just gets you here. You need to get rent and stuff like that, so you need to find an apartment, a place to live, and all of that becomes more expensive. So it's hard to put a single figure on it, but especially as like your work were very like it was in the package of you coming here for the job. So it wasn't like we actually forked out, so we're not 100% sure how much it actually cost.
No,
but I would say like any move,
I could probably do a rough estimate. It's this much. I think that'll. Oh, I'll put a figure in.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do the YouTube thing. Oh, okay. And I guess Kevin Chalice asked, what was the total costs and any regrets?
Yeah.
Again, it's roughly this much, and that includes, like I said, lawyer fees, moving, flights, and anything else. Really.
The only thing I could say we regret is that we weren't 100% sure how much our space, our shipping container was going to be, because it's hard to work out the square footage and then what you're packing.
Yes.
So we actually didn't bring some things like really nice coffee table books that we've collected over the years. A few pieces of furniture that we actually liked that might not necessarily be our taste now, but would have helped us when we moved into our first apartment with no furniture at all. So there was a few things that I regret that we didn't necessarily bring.
I brought a 10-foot shelf and it's in the trash. It's gone.
So we brought that with us because we're like, we'll put it up, and we didn't realise how shit American walls are, like with the ply.
Yeah.
Like you don't really want to be drilling things into these walls without finding the studs, and that just makes it really complicated. So we're like, the shelf can go. Like, let's get rid of the shelf. Also, don't disturb you.
Any other regrets?
We just threw some random things. We gave it to charity, and I was like a bottle opener. Why did we not decide to bring the bottle opener with us?
Yeah.
There was just and a cheese grater, and it was like, we'll just get a new one. When actually, we should have just bought our ones because they were nice.
I wasn't really thinking that clearly when we were moving.
Some of you were stressed.
That's putting it mildly. I don't know if I've actually told anyone this. My resting heart rate just before I moved out here was 100 beats per minute on the week that we're running up to moving in. I lost 20 pounds in weight due to stress as well. So that's probably a regret, is being how stressed. I probably took a couple of years off my life due to that.
You were so stressed. It was crazy.
You just didn't care.
Yeah, I was just like, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so Windy Griller.
That's a good name.
What are some seemingly simple things that you had to completely relearn or adjust to?
Oh, food shopping.
She's not wrong. So food shopping, like for us, we obviously lived in London or England rather our entire lives, and you get used to what's good on a supermarket shelf versus what's not. And when you move out here, they're completely different brands. You have no idea. There's no like Sainsbury's Basics or Tesco's Finest that you can go, that's probably nice. You have no idea. So you have to relearn what all the brands are on the shelves and what actually tastes good versus what's horrible and you definitely shouldn't buy. So there was a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think when we didn't have a car for a while, we were just going to like a basic supermarket, and then once we had a car, we've been able to like discover nicer places to shop as well, which made it easier.
Yeah, Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like rebuying like food and groceries. And then also some words are different meanings.
Yeah.
So like sometimes we could say something, American people would be like, what? What are you saying?
Yeah, like so just trying to ask for like certain food items.
Yeah.
Like for instance, what's called rocket in the UK, like a type of salad leaf. We would have to, if we asked that out here, they would have no idea, and it's called arugula. And
Yeah.
like, there's loads of different like.
And a courgette is a zucchini. So it's like learning those things. And I remember we were at the self-checkout and I couldn't find what green onions, scallions.
Scallions, yeah.
And
spring onions.
Yeah, spring onions. She was just like, oh, it's this, and as if I was like an alien not knowing what this was. Because I was like, oh, I'm trying to find it, and she was like, no, it's this, and I was like, oh, okay, thank you.
One thing that no one tells you about when you move out here is that your life essentially starts from zero again. So you have no credit history because you don't exist on their systems or profiles at all. So there is you lose all status, and that sounds like not the worst thing in the world, but when you come out here and you I don't know, you try and get a credit card, you can't. You have no credit history. So some of those things can be very challenging. Like for instance, when we got the apartment, I had to pay an enormous amount of a deposit.
Crazy amount.
Like I think $6,000 versus $750, which is the normal rate for one of these apartments. So there's all those kinds of things that no one really warns you about or briefs you to. But like, that was a big adjustment for me. Tiago Heavy Drums. Did you start from zero just to see how it would go, or you guys had things planned? I definitely didn't just move out here for the sake of moving out here. As much as I would have loved to have been able to do that, I actually moved out here for work, so at least I kind of had some sort of guarantee or safety net when moving out, and I would suggest, if you can, work for a company that does that, because it's just a lot smoother. It'll make your visa much easier to get and achieve,
and also they help with the cost of moving.
Yeah, exactly, all of those things.
And then, but in terms of like when we moved, we kind of did a little research leading up to the move, to like sort of areas like where your work was going to be, areas that we might want to live in, and just like did Google like searches and kind of like saw how much roughly accommodation would be. But it wasn't until we actually were here that we found where to live.
Yeah.
By actually going and viewing the area. So we didn't have a plan in terms of where we were going to live. We just knew that your work had to put us up in an apartment for 2 months. And then from that, we had no plan.
Yeah.
So it's kind of part planned, because obviously getting visas and stuff like that, you can't just not plan.
Exactly, yeah.
But then when we actually were finding accommodation, there wasn't a plan.
No. My sister, no, that's not the screen name, that's actually my sister, my Disney Corner 33. Is there anything that you thought you would miss, but you don't? That's actually a good question.
I feel like we've got the same answer for this.
Yeah, Claire, if you're watching, I actually thought about this long and hard. And I guess the answer is kind of a bit of a cop-out, but like, it's British television. I thought we were going to miss it and be like worried about all of our favourite shows we used to watch, but we don't really watch a huge amount of TV out here anyway, so like, I guess I don't really miss it at all.
I would probably say the only thing that I do really miss is Graham Norton, because I really enjoyed that, and then we always like play it to our American friends, like you. And Have I Got News for You? And YouTube clips for it, but yeah, I'd probably say it's like, other than those two shows, I don't really miss it.
Ross Burrow, what was the biggest culture shock in moving to LA?
Probably the weather for me.
What do you mean?
Wow, it's hot. I'm not used to the heat.
But that's not cultural.
I guess, okay, probably words. Like, we would say, like when we were at the airport the first day we moved here, after an 11-hour flight, we were waiting for a taxi and he just didn't open the boot. And I was like, dude, can you pop the boot, please? And he was just like, minding his own business. I was like, Dave, he's not like, we've got 5 suitcases.
She meant, can you open the trunk?
Yeah, so then Dave was like, oh, can you open the trunk? And he popped it. And I was like, okay, so it's like certain things that you say to an American, they go, oh, that's a funny way of saying that. Yeah.
That was I don't know if you heard that, but that was the ice tray just dropping a load of ice.
Shall I go turn it off?
No, it'll be fine. For me, I don't know if this is actually cultural, but like, say we're in a supermarket in England and I was trying to get past you, I'd say, sorry, can I get past? Or excuse me, can I squeeze past you? Out here, they don't do that. They just come up to you, stand right in your face and go, excuse me?
Yeah.
And at first, I thought they were being super aggressive, which gets you back up, especially when you're food shopping. So, you know, not that we came to fists or anything, but it was a little bit of a tension point.
Yeah.
But it turns out they don't mean that in an aggressive way at all. They're literally saying, excuse me, trying to get past.
Yeah, it's just the way that they do it. They're literally like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Like,
it just sounds very blunt. It's really weird.
yeah, that is, yeah.
Blistered says, any regrets? No, I think the only regret that I have is, like I said earlier, is I do regret that my family and friends can't be out here to experience it with us. I really wish that they could. There are so many things that I'd love to show off to my family. It makes me quite sad, like thinking about it, and I just wish they could come.
Yeah, same. But in terms of regrets, other than a few things that I was like, cookbooks and stuff like that we didn't bring with us, most things I don't.
So
remember.
material possessions.
Yeah, material possessions, but no actual regrets moving here.
Do you regret not being able to wear your lovely winter coats?
No, but I've got them in my wardrobe just in case we say wanting to go to New York.
Fair enough. Okay.
Or like we go back to London and it's winter, but yeah they're just there. They're pretty still, just in the wardrobe.
Yeah. I maybe regret not being in better shape because everyone out here is very slender and it makes me feel enormous.
Yeah, California, everyone is very pretty and prim.
Yeah. RV, yeah, I'm not reading that one out. I might put that at the end. If you're watching, f*** you too, Rog.
I just saw it and I was like, yeah.
RVT3 or Richard Thompson III. Insert Marmite question here. Well, we can make up our own question then. Can you get Marmite out here?
Yes, you just want to pay a lot of money for it.
Yeah, it is very expensive.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like $9 or $10 for a tiny jar, and if you want one of the big ones, well, you better sell a kidney.
Yeah, it's like $30 or something.
27, I think.
27. Well, with tax, it's $30.
Yeah, ridiculous. Basically.
Yeah, so a lot of money. So whenever you have it on toast, you're like, savour this.
R. Turner Photos probably asked 1,000 times, well, what's the biggest difference in the car scenes? Now, surprisingly, given that my YouTube channel is about photography and cars, no one has asked any car questions at all. So R. Turner Photos, you are the first person to actually ask this. So what are the biggest differences in the car scenes, Amy?
Over to you, David.
Okay. The one thing I found out here is that a lot of people just want to work with you or help you out. Like, how can I explain? Like, if I wanted to go and do a photo shoot in the UK to organise it for a magazine or just a personal photo shoot or anything like that, it was like getting blood from a stone at some points. Whereas out here, they just want to do everything they can to get behind it, and that's really nice. I would say it's a lot more friendly, and mainly that there just seems to be a lot more car culture. It's a lot more like co-supportive. Everyone wants to support each other, which is super nice and super encouraging, and everyone's like super friendly. And the other thing about photographers is they're not so like
Competitive.
Yeah. They're not so competitive towards each other. They don't like, I'm not going to show you this because I want it for myself. I've been invited by other photographers to come along to shoots, to come along for drives, go to garages so many times, and like they just want to be friends. And I really like that about the car culture out here.
I'd say just adding that, just from like observing, you seem to have more opportunities.
Yeah.
To like go and photograph cars.
Yeah.
Or cool cars anyway.
Yeah, and there is a lot of cool cars out here. It seems like modifying your car out here is way more prevalent than it is in the UK, at least in my experience. You feel free to argue. I'll just delete your comment anyway. James Braithwaite says, when will it end?
Maybe James just needs to come here. Yeah, Jim, get on the flight.
Come on, Jim, get on that flight, because it's never going to end. Tom Porter Photography. What was the biggest life adjustment from the move?
Oh, this is probably where I can insert my weather comment.
Yeah.
Adjusting to the weather.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It is warm. It's warmer than the UK.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I can cope. It's just sometimes I'm too hot.
Fair enough. Yeah. Life adjustment. I want to find like a more sexy answer than this, but like building up credit. Yeah. Has been the hardest thing, like having to go back to like literally zero and build up your credit history. That was a hard one.
And then I guess making friends again as an adult. Like, I think you forget how easy that is when you're young, but then as an adult, moving to a country and not knowing anyone.
Yeah.
But thankfully, in the apartment complex that we live in, it's like very communal. Like made friends with our neighbours, and then through them made friends, and then work colleagues. So we now have a good friendship group.
I guess to expand on that, obviously when the pandemic started, everyone went into lockdown and isolation, and for us being 5,000 miles away from our family and friends could have felt incredibly like isolating and lonely. But thankfully, we managed to like make friends with our neighbours, and like basically all of them that like are neighbours with us right now, and it's been great. We've got like a group of 10 friends, and they all got dogs, so we can go and play and hang out. And
so we were the only ones for ages without a dog, and now we're officially in the crew because we have a dog.
Yeah. Oh, I suppose because we're 8 hours behind everyone that we know in like England. We're kind of the last ones in our friendship or family groups to go to bed, which can be quite lonely. So like past, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no one that we know that or used to know that will be awake. So that can feel quite lonely. And on top of that, when you wake up in the morning, you're bombarded with messages, which can be quite difficult to deal with when you're super tired or you have a busy morning and you only have a narrow window in which to communicate with your family and friends. It can be quite challenging that way.
It was like struggle at first to like do phone calls with family, but also have like weekends free. So then it's like trying to fit speaking to family into weekdays so that you actually have your weekends free to go and explore, because otherwise you're on like a Zoom with family for like 2 hours and then like your Saturday morning's gone, kind of thing. It's just like the balance of trying to navigate that, but now I feel like we've got a good routine with that.
I think so too. Okay,
we answered them all.
I think that's all of the questions.
Hopefully we did a good job.
I hope so too. Otherwise, well, this video's not going to get published.
Otherwise, it's your fault, not mine. I was an amazing guest.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on. Is there anything else you would like to add? Any other comments or questions or theories about?
Well, now we have a puppy. Life is complete here.
Life is complete. It's not complete yet. Much more we've got to achieve.
I need a car.
You need a car. I need at least 5.
That's ready to say that. That's a very bad surprise. Yeah.
There's way more adventures to go on.
I know.
I am very much looking forward to when he's a little bit bigger and we can actually take him on some road trips.
And when he stops peeing in the house, you mean?
When he stops peeing in the house, that would be...
We're doing potty training at the moment. Some days we have really good days, and other days I want to cry.
Do you want to cry? Well, she was at work the other day. He peed 3 times in the house.
And then I came home and I found poo in the corner.
I wasn't going to tell him that.
It's okay. He's 9 weeks old.
It's a good job. He's cute.
Yeah, he's very cute. He's all sleepy.
Yeah, we've only had him. We got him a week ago today.
Yeah.
So this is Saturday.
Anniversary.
Saturday 31st. We've had him exactly 1 week today. He's a good boy. We rescued him as well from La Belle.
I feel like we should have put him against you because you can't see him next to me.
Like, you see him now. What about? There he is. He's. It's focusing on your face, not the dog's.
Oh.
Anyway, we're rambling now. Thank you so much for your questions on Instagram. I really do appreciate it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any comments or questions or you want to know more, let us know down in the comments section below. Either I or Amy will respond to those. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.
You won't see me again, though. For a while, anyway.
Yeah. I want to be here now. See ya.
Bye.